What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Game On Improve Your Health podcast. Tonight's podcast episode journey is being hosted by none other than, your host. I didn't do it as good this time. Austin J, or hallucinodream, if you know him from the gaming community, and his lovely wife, Christina, or Christina, if you know her from the gaming community. And tonight's podcast episode is on inflammation. Man, that was a pretty bad.
That was a great intro.
That was a pretty bad intro. And see, this is why it needs to be pre-recorded.
Seriously.
You know why it's bad? Because my hair is. For those who can't see on the podcast platform, my hair is all jacked up. Yeah. Who cut my hair today? You did.
Your wife did.
My wife did. That's right. Anyways, tonight's podcast episode topic is inflammation. We'll go over that. We apologize. We're in a different. We're still mobile, right? So we apologize for the lack of quality compared to our initial
setup. That was about 6 months ago. You probably heard, because that's how long we've been on the road.
Seriously, been on the road for quite some time. And this is the first time we're doing it at night here. So, actual night without light coming through the million of windows that we have. So the lighting's a little weird. Anyways, we apologize, okay? And I apologize for my hair. And she apologizes for her hair. So tonight's episode is on inflammation. For those listening, a majority of our, almost all of our podcast episodes as of right now I just want to let everybody know, they are the basics of all the information that we're giving, because what I've listened to several podcasts, especially when I started beginning my journey and everything, and some of the information that I thought was going to not be confusing to me was incredibly confusing. So what we're doing is building the podcast, starting out light so people can actually follow along and understand what we're talking about in the simplest terms possible before we go into some serious like scientific backed up talk where you're very confused. You have to hit the books just to understand what we're talking about. We don't want you to have to do that. So inflammation, we're basically going over the just like all the other episodes, we're going to go over basically the basics of it, and then we're going to give you information on anecdotal information that we've gone through and what we have felt on inflammation and all of the sorts. So what is inflammation? I'm glad you asked. It is it is basically the body protecting itself from harm. So inflammation is, let's say you fall down and scrape your knee. You see your knee start turning red, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's starting to turn, that's inflammation. When you have a stomach ache, your gut is inflamed. Okay, your stomach is inflamed. When you have a headache, your head is inflamed, right? So all of those are basically, symptoms of something in your body that your body is, technically going through something harmful. Mm-hmm. A sickness would be the same thing, and your body needs to repair that. So that's where inflammation comes from. Now, inflammation isn't necessarily a bad thing. When you fall down and scrape your knee, you want the inflammation because that signals the body to do what it needs to do to be able to repair the scabbed knee that you just damaged, right? Mm-hmm. But what the problem lies is inflammation, chronic inflammation. That's where the problem lies. That can lead to a saloon of problems, including altering your mood, which we talk about a lot. Your mindset will start, altering and getting poor, right? I can't even think straight because my hair is all out of whack. And
I'm telling you, you're 10 years younger.
I know, I can't. And the camera, people can't see it on the podcast platforms, but the camera is lagging too. Everything's all out of whack today. It really is. It's really bad. Sorry. Anyways, for those watching, we apologize. For those watching on Twitch and YouTube, we apologize for the weird delay. And so that's inflammation, right? It causes quite a bit of, negative things in your body that you don't want, okay? For some reason, my brain is foggy today, so I apologize.
So his brain's inflamed.
Wow, my brain is 100% inflamed. I apologize for the weirdness of this conversation we're about to have. Anyways, so what we're going to do is we just briefed over, and by we I mean me, and it wasn't the greatest explanation. I apologize, but I do feel like my brain is slightly inflamed, or else I'd be able to talk properly. I'm telling you, it's the hair, it's throwing me off. I keep looking at it, and I'm like, I can't even think straight. So we're going to go over some things, that we went through, and how we deal with inflammation. We're specifically talking about gut inflammation. Now, gut inflammation really affects everything, and I'm telling you, firsthand, this isn't cliche, and it's me not just I'm not trying to sell you anything, or it actually is the truth. You might hear people say that, your gut controls everything, and, healthy eating will actually make you feel better. That's true. That actually is true. And I've lived through it. That's why I am, and I think it's very important that we tell people that. So that's why I am, going to tell my story and what I went through, and maybe hopefully help some other people. But we're going to let Christina here talk a little bit, because I'm rambling on and I'm not making any sense, I'm sure. So we're going to let her start. What kind of situations, and I know we talk about inflammation ourselves a lot. So what kind of situations have you been through that you have noticed that, your gut is, we'll talk about your gut. Your gut has been inflamed, and what did it do? Did it affect, your mood or, what you're doing that specific day? So
yeah. I feel like I had a recent, kind of spurt of, feeling like my gut was inflamed. I don't remember, how we were eating, but I imagine that we were eating a little less healthy than we normally do. I know, for me, dairy, kills my gut. You know what? I think that's what it was. I think we had just maybe started coming back down here, and we started eating
probably all the ice cream we were eating.
Yeah. I, go so hard on ice cream when we get down here. My favorite is Java Chunk. Oh, my God. It's so good. And
now that we're on the topic of ice cream, we're interested. Let us know in the comments or, on our social media, what's your favorite ice cream?
Yeah, and normally when we're
don't tell us you're not going to eat it again, because we're going to go into why you can eat it, but don't tell us you're not going to eat it again. That's not what we want to do.
Well, normally we eat dairy-free, and I definitely, and I'm sure this is a topic for a totally another day, but I do think it's possible for you to create, a lactose intolerance for yourself because of the lack of dairy that you're eating. So then your body just, again, I'm not a nutritionist, but, your body does start to not know how to digest something because you don't eat it. So, your body just almost kind of evolves out of having to do that. So, red meats and, dairy is one of, the biggest ones. That people have a hard time digesting anyway, because I don't think it's something that we really even naturally need to eat. Again, that's a whole other topic. But
there's some research behind everything she just said.
Yeah. So but so I stopped eating dairy a long time ago, and again, I would only really I don't drink milk. We really don't eat cheese on a regular basis. Sometimes we'll have a bacon egg or a sausage, egg, and cheese sandwich or something. But as a rule, we really don't eat cheese very often.
We did cut cheese out, yeah.
Yeah, and so we don't eat that much dairy. And so anytime I do at that magnitude of and almost an entire pint of Java Chunk within 2 days, just kills me. And so it just makes me feel just sluggish, and my stomach just hurts. It just feels for me, it makes me feel I'm hungry, but I don't want to eat. I'm it's I'm almost kind of always full, and it make it gassy. It just makes me feel just.
Gassy's great. Gassy's just great. Yeah, that's our favorite part.
Yep. But yeah, and then it just doesn't it just doesn't make you feel good. And, there are so many things and we'll, I guess, obviously go into that a little bit later, of things that once you notice your gut is inflamed, what can you do to help kind of re-regulate, yourself. But yeah, so for me, it's always dairy.
Yeah, I would say dairy definitely, because we've cut it out. So
Yeah.
since I've met
Yeah,
my
and
wife
it's not
here,
going to be everybody, you know, like everybody's going to be different. And like, you know, you might have times where, you know, you go out with your friends on a Friday night and you drink and you eat like crap, and then the next day your gut's inflamed. Like that could very well happen. But then you're fine all week, you know. Or but if you start noticing where the problem lies, is like it's not every once in a while. That's not, you know, your body's going to do that. You know, you try something new or you eat something that you don't normally eat. Like it is your body's way of being like, oh, I don't know what to do with this. We don't normally eat this. But what the problem is when you're doing it all the time. So like if I know I have a dairy sensitivity, but I continue to eat it every day, like, well, my my gut's gonna be in a constant inflammatory state. Or people that are need to be gluten free, right? They have celiac. I think it's celiac. I think that's what the term is actually called.
celiac, yeah.
Yeah.
Celiac disease.
Or, you know, something that, you know, would cause you to go gluten-free. Well, if you know you have a gluten intolerance, but you eat it every day, well, your gut's going to be continuously inflamed. And so, you know, once you start, there's food sensitivity tests that you could do, or you could just really do trial and error, right? What makes you feel good? What makes you feel bad? It is a pain in the butt kind of doing some of those. But if you normally will have a general idea of what it is. So, like, pick things that you know you eat 5+ times a week. You know, so if you know it's always something in your diet, start with the big stuff, because that's, chances are, it's not going to be the, you know, random pack of M&Ms that you ate. Like, it's going to, you know, that's not making you feel crappy all week.
Yeah, it's going to be the stuff that's
consistent. Exactly. You know.
Yeah, so we cut out dairy. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to go back. Actually, I'm just going to go back quite some time. Before I started my health and wellness journey, before I got into all of this, which is why I started One Punch, I ate McDonald's and Burger King and Wendy's. There's another one. Arby's. Literally every meal for about a year straight. Not good, right? Not good for you. And you know, my mood was always all over the place. I had no idea, but you know, people definitely.
You often don't notice until you start to make a change, and you're like, "Wow, I like feel so much better than I used to." You know, like you have more energy. You're not as miserable. Have your water.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I don't know what you're pointing at. Okay.
I've been doing all the talking, so.
Yeah, seriously. Also, strike one. Don't cut me off. Yeah, so many years ago, that's what I ate that consistently, 3 meals a day. I didn't know how to cook, and I didn't really feel like cooking, right? It was going to take up too much time to learn how to do that, so I didn't want to do it, which isn't true. I probably definitely 100% had all the time in the world, but that's what I ate. My mood was definitely all over the place. I was always tired. I mean, but I just thought I was always tired because I've always been that way. I've always been tired. So I just was like, oh, that's normal. And that's one of the main problems, is that people think that's just normal. But it's not. You can actually get your energy back, and you can reduce the negative impact on your body and your mind by changing. Anyway, so I started my fitness routine. The first thing I cut out was the fast food and soda. That was the only thing. I didn't focus on anything else. I didn't care what else I ate. I just wasn't going to eat that. That's the first thing I did. And lo and behold, I actually felt quite a bit better not drinking all that soda and not eating all that fast food. Even though I still wasn't eating as healthy as I probably could have, which not as healthy as I eat now. I felt much better. My mood was better. I was generally happier. My energy increased, even though I was still getting the same amount of sleep, which I've always averaged like 5 or 6 hours of sleep before. Getting in my health and wellness routine, once I learned how important sleep was, I increased my sleep very, very slightly then. I mean, I was probably getting like 6.5 hours average. So, but my energy was increasing, and it's like, why? Why is that happening? Well, because I changed my eating habits, and now I'm starting to eat a little better. And I was also exercising, so that plays a factor as well. But my mood was better, and I'm thinking to myself, people always tell you all this stuff. It's not actually It's not actually just them telling you that. It actually is the truth. That's, that actually happened. I felt better, and, my stomach, I mean, my bowel movements was really off, too. I'm just going to get into that. So, I will say, if people will tell you, I'm sure, at some point in your life, if you ever meet me or somebody else that knows me in person, they'll tell you, I used to poop all the time. I'm just going to say it. Poop all the time. I could eat something, right? I could eat something, which was generally not... Instantly would have to go to the bathroom. That doesn't happen anymore. Thank the lords and ladies.
Now he has about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Before
it's a little longer than that.
Go to the bathroom.
Which isn't good. That's a sign of your gut being inflamed and your body just not wanting what you're putting into your body, right? Which means that... I never thought about it, but the nutrients probably wasn't there. I was just not getting the nutrients I probably needed. Especially when I first started doing weightlifting and stuff, right? I needed to actually get the nutrients I needed. But that all stopped too, which that's actually pretty irritating when you're always on the toilet. I don't know if anybody has the same situation. And I'm sure there's people who do, who have the same situation. I cleaned up my eating. I stopped doing all that stuff. Started eating a little more clean. And now I have regular movements. Sorry to talk about it, but that is the truth. And that's part of gut health and inflammation and I mean that definitely subconsciously makes me feel better, right? And I mean there's just so many benefits that you don't know, and it's very hard for somebody to tell you that you do this, it's going to make you feel better, because when people used to tell me all that and that I was going to get more energy, that was the main thing. I wanted more energy, right? I wanted to not feel so lack of energy and so groggy all the time. When people tell you that, oh, just go exercise, eat better, but you've never done it and if you've never felt that, I look at them like, absolutely not. That's not going to happen. I need to drink more coffee and, some other stuff. But it's really the truth. And so, I mean, that was my past, right? So we're going to jump forward to now, right? We did cut out, when I first met her, we cut out red meat. Well, I cut out red meat. She was actually not eating red meat because she can't eat red meat. Yeah. Because it inflames her gut too much. Trust me. Yeah. You don't want to be near her when she eats red meat. But I stopped eating red meat, and there's nothing wrong with red meat. You can eat red meat.
Yeah, so. I knew it was something that just didn't make me feel good, and I didn't ever eat it a ton. But it would just be that instant, as soon as you would eat it, I have to go to the bathroom, type for me. And I just and I didn't tell you that for a long time. And he was like, what? That's why you can't, that's why you don't eat red meat. I'm like, yeah.
I actually never, when I forced myself into her apartment because I was taking care of her cat, but I actually moved in. Joke's on her. I literally didn't even realize we weren't eating red meat the whole time.
Yeah, and
it was months and months and months later when I was when she said something, I was like,
yeah.
I was like, holy shit, we really haven't eaten red meat.
Well, and I feel like we probably went to your mom's for dinner or something, and I was like, oh yeah, no, we don't really eat red meat.
That's probably when it happened. Yeah. I was like, wow. Yeah, we don't.
But yeah, red meat just has always kind of inflamed, and I feel like it does that to a lot of people. So yeah, we just napped.
Not that it's bad. You can have red meat in your diet. We eat red meat once a week. That's it.
Yeah, and we have incorporated it back in, and at the max we eat it once a week. We haven't eaten it in a while.
Yeah, it's not even once a week. It's once a week at most.
Yeah.
Really, but the dairy as well. So. What gets me recently, and I can tell, and this is what happens to me because I've been eating clean for several years. Now I can tell when my gut is getting inflamed because my mood does decrease and my irritability skyrockets. That's one of I've heard this from a lot of different podcasts and things that I've read, and other people saying that inflammation spikes their irritability and they can feel when their gut's inflamed even before they feel their gut being inflamed, which is it's paramount to catch all that, but you wouldn't know unless you start changing. But the dairy, and then when we come down here and we go out and stuff, we want to enjoy ourselves and eat some food and stuff. A lot of stuff is fried, so we eat some fried food too. That really gets me. Yeah. That and the dairy, especially if I have that one day, that will just I will be very irritable. And if it's not that day, it will carry over, and it does carry over into the morning, which is not fun, especially if the morning is a time when I want to actually get up and go for a run or work out or something. But because then my mood is pretty destroyed, and maybe my stomach hurts, which, as a matter of fact, recently my stomach has been hurting. It's because we've been actually eating the ice cream pretty late, and then going to bed. But yeah, I mean, just you gotta try to, the best that you can, start out slow, like Christina said. And we have a whole episode on this, I'm pretty sure, is how to wean into changing your nutrition habits.
Yeah.
Start out slow, and then figure out what inflames your gut, really. And if you don't, you might not feel it right off the bat. Like I said, I can tell my gut's being inflamed by my mood changing before my gut actually shows itself being inflamed. So
yeah. Yeah, I mean, and so I started, I went from eating carbs or and I say carbs, but I started by eating either a bagel or just something that was very carb heavy, right? First thing in the morning. And then once we started doing Spartan races, and we started really getting we started taking our fitness from I was always I want to just kind of maintain myself and kind of feel good, to then I was training for a half marathon, and then after that, then we were doing Spartan races. So I really took my fitness level to that next level, and I was I have to start eating, even better than I already do. So we were still, we were pretty healthy. We cooked most of our meals. We didn't eat out a ton. But I started doing protein shakes. So I would get a vegan protein or something with an almond milk and fruits and veggies, and I would put that. And I immediately noticed a change in my energy level, especially more so than my gut. But that also just kind of helped regulate. That just helps regulate your bodies. A lot of them have pre and probiotics in them, which are good. So that definitely helps.
Good for your gut.
Yeah, good for your gut. So I use a super green kind of powder, and that has pre and probiotics. And it just my mood changed, how just everything about how I felt just immediately changed. I would say within a week of doing that. Now your hunger definitely has to, if you go from eating a Dunkin' Donuts breakfast sandwich every morning to a protein shake, it's more so a mental, and I think I've talked about this on another podcast, but just kind of another tip, it is a mental switch that you have to do. And so much of changing your diet is, we think about the calories that we consume, and just how much most calories a burger is right now in America, and it's more than most people need to eat in a day, from a caloric standpoint. Now, I don't suggest that if you eat a burger for dinner, you don't eat the rest of the day. But just as a rule of thumb,
technically, if we're eating the burger for dinner, there's really not much of the day left.
Yeah, so. I'm saying don't not eat all day because you're gonna have a burger for dinner, But we don't need as many calories. A sedentary average person does not need as many calories as we have available to us to eat every day, and so. For me, it just was a really big mental switch of I don't need anything other than this shake. It has enough of the caloric that I need. The nutrients and everything that I need, but I really still wanted that bagel. And so what helped me stick to that was how I felt. So after a week, I was wow, I really feel good. And then it helped me mentally switch. I don't need anything else. This is enough for me from a nutrient standpoint, and I feel so much better. I wasn't drinking coffee until noon. And even that, I was just drinking it just because I wanted it. And I would drink like half a cup or a half caffeinated coffee. Like, I didn't need nearly as much coffee as I did. Where normally I would have to like drink it the first thing I wake up, like as soon as I wake up, or else don't talk to me because I'm a zombie. But it just totally changes your mood and how you feel.
Yeah, and you'll notice that. But with what she said, carbs are not your enemies, by the way. Not your enemy.
No.
Sorry. Mm-mm. So if you are one of those people, I like to eat carbs when I first wake up, right? So
don't we all? I love to eat carbs when I wake up.
And I hold energy when I eat the carbs. I make sure that my fast is complete. We have a whole episode on fasting going if you want to hear about that. Make sure my fast is complete, and then I eat oatmeal, which is packed with carbs, as well as other stuff. I mean, I pack the oatmeal with a bunch of cool stuff. It's very cool. And but don't think that you have to stop eating carbs for breakfast. Okay, it's just everything's individual. It's her body, and she changed and cut the carbs out, and she feels she eats carbs throughout the day, just not at breakfast now.
Yeah, and like even so, like we do try to do.
I just wanted to throw that out there before somebody's like, "Oh my God, I need to cut out all carbs," because Christina said,
well, we do eat like so. We try to fast, and so I will normally do a 12 to 14 hour fast. Just depending on that night. But I like if I cut our fast with too heavy of a carb, like if we eat like so we'll do like pancakes, we'll do like Kodiak protein pancakes or something like that. But like I can literally only have one, and then I'll have eggs. Like, but if I eat two, like 30 minutes later I feel like crap. And, like, that's just how my body is. Like, I can't have that high of a carb intake first thing to break my fast. So, like, if I break my fast with, like, a shake, I feel so much, or coffee with protein. And then an hour later, then I eat a pancake. Like, then I feel so much better than if I break my fast with carbs. So... Yeah, but that's something that I just had to learn. Like, I would have never known. Yeah.
Individual variances, so everybody is going to have to, you can't really take what we say and, I mean, you can. Yeah. And see if it works, but more than likely it's going to have to be altered. Yeah. And you can see what works best for you. Yeah. Just, try to watch what you're eating.
Weight loss results may vary. That's that's like the term. Results may vary.
We totally, leaned this whole topic into nutrition.
Yes.
This is all. Did. Yeah, this is literally all because of inflammation and the way it makes you feel, which we did turn it into nutrition, but that has a large
part. Yeah.
Part and has a large role in inflammation, but. There's other factors that can reduce inflammation, which is, exercising and, meditating. That'll reduce inflammation. And, just leisurely activities, relaxing, right? I'm not talking about sitting there watching TV all day. That's probably not going to. You're probably going to start getting inflamed from the way you're sitting. I've been sitting funny lately, and my back is totally inflamed, so that's a thing in a certain spot that I haven't had before, but it's because I'm sitting more different spots now that we're stuck in this house. And I mean, inflammation can be caused from anything. It's beneficial because it does help your body heal and everything, but chronic inflammation is what we're talking about. We want to try to help you prevent, and food does have a very, very large impact on that, but the rest of what you do does as well. So we really want you to just try to put what we said into consideration. Try to, if you need any help with nutrition and everything, I'm sports nutrition specialized. My brain is fried. I can barely get my words out. So I am certified in that. We also have a nutrition, and we have I just lost my train of thought. But we have one of those episodes on nutrition.
Yes. Yeah, we do have a nutrition and fasting.
Fasting, that was it. We have episodes on that, so you can go back and listen to that. If you have any questions, let us know.
Well, and there are like, we actually just picked up a magazine the other day that was all about anti-inflammatory. Like, there are foods that are natural anti-inflammatories. So, definitely
blueberries,
good to...
almonds, a lot of the nuts do. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff. I put walnuts and blueberry in my oatmeal.
I think ginger
every single
is
day.
one. Don't quote me on that, but I think ginger is one.
I don't remember.
I'm not sure.
We don't use ginger very often.
No, we don't use ginger very often.
But
yeah, so if you're ever curious, I actually grabbed it because I was having like a really heavy inflammatory day, and we just so happened to be at the store, and I was like, you know what, let me read this. And I picked it up because I was like, what can I do to get rid of this gut inflammation? And
she just ate the magazine, and it worked.
I think I ended up doing, I think like apple cider vinegar is one. And so if you like put like a tablespoon of that in water, so I did that. It just kind of helps like flush out your system. So just like anything like that, do some research. There are definitely quick fixes.
There's a million websites that will make sure it's a like a
credible
verified
website. Yeah,
a credible website.
Yeah, this wasn't like People Magazine, and then it was like anti-inflammatory kind of in the.
Make sure it's a credible source that you're getting this information from. So
yes,
and then a lot of times people provide the actual food list that will help with inflammation. You can incorporate it into your food.
Yep.
So with that, we're probably going to end this episode. We didn't record this one live because we're unable to on where we are, so the next one will not be live as well, which is our follow-up and question and answer to this one. So if you have any questions, send them in, and we will answer them, that next episode, and we'll post them, on YouTube and Twitch.
Also, don't forget to tell us your favorite ice cream.
Don't forget to tell us your favorite ice cream. You can post it on any of our social medias.
Most important part.
On YouTube, and I'm not sure if you can comment on the podcast platforms, but if you want to, give us a rating and tell us your favorite ice cream. That would be awesome. With that, my name is Austin J. or hallucinodream. This is Christina or Christina. And we will be back next week. I'm just going to tell you anyway because of habit, because I didn't check anyway. Wednesday the 9th. I'm going to say it. Wednesday the 9th at 9 p.m. Eastern on Twitch and YouTube. But we're not going to be on Twitch and YouTube. Sorry. I have to say it. I ruined the intro, but the outro is on point. So we hope to see you guys next week, and thank you for listening.
Bye.